Right now, though, it is time for us to check sports, ladies and gentlemen. And if it's time to check sports, I play this for all le Canadiens.
I'm not really paying attention to what I'm doing this morning.
This is for all
I used to be
Canadians, all right? And see if I can play this correctly now. Cheech and Chong.
Got a basketball toe, so baby,
NBA champions. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Mike Cozzi. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning. Basketball
Jones, a song by Cheech and Chong. And, of course, Canada has a championship in basketball. Did you know that the first NBA game played was in Toronto?
No.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that till this morning.
Yeah, I love they say they're like the Prime Minister of Canada. That's how we do it in the North. How many of them people that play basketball are from the North?
About as many people who used to play hockey are from the South.
Maybe North Georgia.
Well, anyways, congratulations. They won. It wasn't a spectacular series. Lots of injuries in this series, but it's over, and hockey is over. And now our full attention goes to football. No, only joking, but it seems but it seems like it. God, that league. They've got to tell their publicists to calm down a little bit. We do deserve 2 months a year at least free of football news.
I have 11 months free of football.
You're not bad at it.
Just change the channel when I see it.
All right. So anyway, so that's where we can. That's where we start off and end right there.
Yes, sir.
With basketball.
Hey, I went out for dinner with my friends and I watched golf. You know why?
Why?
That's all they had on in the place.
And you couldn't get them to change it. Don't you hate that?
Yep.
All right. Well, Tiger's 4 back, and he's in the hunt after the first day. We'll see. As Mike likes to say, let's see where he stands tomorrow.
See if he makes the cut.
Oh, gosh. I forgot
that movable line.
I forgot they were playing at Pebble Beach. I forgot that's where it was this year. But did your friends watch it at least?
My friend plays golf. He's pretty good. He plays in a couple of big things. One of his friends he's like what do you say? Whatever the handicap is, he shoots like around 83.
Okay, well,
his friend shoots like around 74.
Back when I used to golf every day, before my surgeries and before my foot problems, I literally used to golf 5 days a week, okay? My handicap had finally gotten down to like a 14 handicap, which is, if par is 72, that means you shoot around 86 to 90. At one point, I actually had my handicap, but now I would be willing to bet you it's all the way back up. If I ever stepped on a golf course again, it would be up to 30-something. I get it down fairly quickly. But if you are a 13, 14 handicapper, that's the great thing about golf. If you're going up against somebody who's like a scratch golfer, who's a 1 or 2 handicap, and you're a 13 or 14 hand, you get 13 strokes in a round. It makes it competitive where you can play with somebody who's much better. Unlike bowling or like baseball, where if somebody's much better than you and you try to play with them, you get blown away because it's just a whole different sport. But anyway.
The way it's supposed to be, survival of the fittest.
That's right.
None of this. It's like saying, okay, I'm better than you, so you start today's baseball game winning 5-0.
That's right. Exactly right.
No.
That's exactly right. Maybe if they did that in the NBA, the Knicks would make the playoffs.
You mean give them the line?
Say the Knicks, okay, you start off 35.
Yeah, give them the line. Yeah. Knicks a 20-point underdog, so they start 20-0.
There you go. I think that's the only way we could do it.
Professional.
All right. So, do you want to go to baseball?
Yeah. The Mets stink. They came out yesterday. It started raining. They threw stuff all over the field. They had a 4-2 lead, and I was watching it. And you get one out, and then a walk, and then you give up a line drive to the gap in left field. Then you give up another line drive down the line, and this other part of the Cano deal that was supposed to be the part of the Cano deal is just as bad as Cano. 1 inning pitch, 2 hits, 1 walk, 2 runs, Mets tie, rains come, finish the game today. They stink. They are awful. Here's the Mets. They got 6 hits last night, managed to get 4 runs on 6 hits. That's good efficiency. 14 strikeouts.
Yeah.
14 strikeouts. Oh, baseball's getting so bad to watch. It's a home run or a strikeout. Not my kind of baseball.
You're exactly right, because that's the Yankee game. I didn't watch it, but I saw there was Chicago.
That's where I was going next. Go ahead. You can start it.
No, they out-homered the Yankees. But the interesting thing about – I watch the MLB Network a lot now because I love their announcers. I like the way they analyze the game.
They're very good.
And every one of them talks about baseball today. And they say, well, you know what? We enjoy baseball. We're professional baseball players. But this thing where everybody's hitting the ball 450 feet, everybody, he said, is ruining the game, where everybody is hitting the ball 400 and some odd feet. The tiniest person can hit the ball 400 feet with no problems at all.
Yep.
And they say that baseball has got to find a way to get back to where you can pitch inside. You've got to do something so that the ball is just.
It's real easy to fix. You have to unjuice the ball. Number one. Yeah. Number 2 is you have to make the strike zone what it is. Number 3 is you got to get rid of the batting practice pitching that takes place. These guys are pros. You could throw 95, 96 miles an hour. If it's straight, you're going to get hit. You have to go back to the days where the balls are moving, pitchers can and are able to change speeds and hit spots, and you'll get it. If you go to the Yankee game, for example, yesterday, there were 9 pitchers used in the Yankee game yesterday. 9 pitchers. The starters went 5 innings and 5 2/3 innings, respectively. Back when I played baseball and going back not too long ago, those are considered horrendous starts.
Yeah.
You got guys that threw 5 innings yesterday, Happ threw 91 pitches, and Nova threw 102. And the strike-to-ball ratio is just over 50%. That's awful.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
It's I never thought I'd say this, but baseball is starting to approach the level of NFL, where the game, if you took a fan from the 1950s or 60s,
they wouldn't recognize.
They would look at the game today and say, "What is this? Is this a softball game?"
Now I gave you this, okay? I gave you these numbers. Now there's a kid down here who's on the team, which, by the way, we got rained out because of the rain yesterday. That's why I'm here this morning. There's a kid on one of the teams that their team won a state championship this year, okay?
Yep.
I think he pitched close to 80-something innings this year, or 70-something innings total this year. I think it was in the 80s. You know how many strikeouts he had?
How many?
126. You know how many walks he had? 5. 5 walks to 126 strikeouts. I'm not making this up. Yeah. This is true. That's pitching. That's what you used to seeing with pitching. This strikeout to strike to walk ratio of just over 50% is garbage. These guys shouldn't even be in the major leagues.
Yeah, it really is a different game where everybody can crush the ball. They got to do something with the ball.
That's all it is. It's all or nothing. It's all or nothing. And if you're a pitcher that can change speeds and change locations, you'll have these guys spinning in the ground because all they're looking to do is launch the ball.
Yeah, and that's another thing they talk about.
Launch angle.
That's how stupid velocity, exit velocity. You know.
You know what I care about velocity? How hard a pitcher can throw and hit a spot, and how a guy can hit a ball where somebody's not, and it doesn't mean over the fence.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
can you take an outside pitch and hit it the other way to get a single in right field? And the epitome of how bad baseball is when they give you half of an infield where all you have to do is make contact and push the ball there, and you can't do it.
Can you imagine Wade Boggs and Danny Cater today? They'd bat 500. They'd place
if Rod Carew and Tony Gwynn played and they gave them a shift, they'd hit 600.
Yeah. They would place the ball right where they had to place it.
Easy ground ball right through the unplayed area.
And Pete Rose as well. Pete Rose was another one who could control.
There's quite a few guys that could hit a ball where they needed to, and a lot of these big power guys had power to all fields, not one field. It's the way that the game has changed, and it has not changed for the better. But like you said, today's fan doesn't recognize it any differently, and they think all of these people that played as long as 25 years ago were a bunch of old stew bums. No, it's not the case, people.
No. All right, we only have a few minutes left. Any racing?
Yeah, we're going to Churchill Downs this weekend. You realize the Derby was 6 weeks ago?
You realize summer's almost over?
6 weeks ago was the Derby.
I know.
So this is Churchill Downs' last hurrah. They're big. It's a night card tomorrow night. They have a bunch of stakes races highlighted by the Stephen Foster, and that's the race we're going to start with because it's the 8th race on the card. Goes off about 9:45 tomorrow night. Mile and an eighth on the main track. Stephen Foster lining up for $600,000. Brings a real good field of 12 horses into this race. Couple horses I'm looking at. One is the 4-horse Seeking the Soul, who ran a decent race in the Ali Sheba on Derby Day off of a race in Dubai. Horse ran very good for coming back from Dubai. Has that race under his belt. 2 really nice works at Churchill Downs for Dallas Stewart, who's having a really nice self. Sinking the Soul is a must-use. Another horse coming out of that same Ali Sheba race who set the pace and ran second. This horse is 4 for 5 in the money at Churchill with 2 wins. The 9-horse Tom's the Atat, trained by Al Stahl. This horse is going to go to the front and play catch me tomorrow, and he's going to get a little bit of company, but this horse likes the track, so he's a must-use. The 10-horse Quip's going to sit right off the pace. This horse definitely needed his last 2 races after a year layoff. In the House Hope ran an even third, came back to win the Oak Lawn Handicap last time, working out very, very well at Keeneland at 10-1 morning line. Very big use here. But my top pick is going to be the 12-horse Yoshida. Yoshida used to run against a horse named Bricks and Mortar on the turf. And Bricks and Mortar used to give this horse fits, beating him by just a half a length or length. Bricks and Mortar turned out to be the best turf horse in the country. Yoshida went to the dirt, albeit in the Woodward last year up at Saratoga, won by 2 lengths. All of a sudden, this horse became a dirt horse. Has Sunday Silence on the top, which can run on anything. This horse did go to Dubai, ran 6th, and a little bit of a problem out there race-wise. Gets the outside post, will sit, will pounce, training well up at Saratoga on the training track. Yoshida's going to be my top pick tomorrow in the Stephen Foster. And I am going to use all 3 horses with him that I mentioned, the 4 Seeking the Soul, the 8 Tom's the Atat, and the 10 Quip. So a 12 with the 4, 9, 10 in the Stephen Foster tomorrow. Race after that, the 9th race is the Regret, Grade 3, mile and an eighth on the turf for 3-year-old fillies. Very nice race here. This race drew another 11 horses in it. So deep fields, a lot of good horses means nice prices. So a couple of horses I'm looking at in here. One is the 5 Hard Legacy, trained by Norm Casey. This horse ran very well in Florida. Had a little time off, had a stretcher out at Keeneland. Should be a lot tighter this time around. Julian Leperoux gets the mount. He's been riding very, very well. He looks like the old Julian Leperoux again. So at 8-1, this is a must-use. The 10-horse Gamble and Train. This horse ran 3 very good races, one at Fairgrounds, one at Keeneland, one at Churchill. Won one of them, ran third in the other 2. The horse ran third twice, got beat less than a length. So this horse is going to be right there. The 2 Delta Kingdom, anything by Animal Kingdom I use. This horse broke her maiden out in Keeneland in April, came back to Churchill Downs, ran a very good race against the 10-horse Gamble and Train last time. Gets a huge jockey change from Robbie Alvarado, who couldn't find the win if he was playing for the Tampa Bay Rays, to Johnny Velasquez. So a big major change there will help this horse. But there's one horse in here I'm really looking at. That's the 9-horse at 12-1, Fortunate Girl. Gets Florent Giroux back on after last debacle. This horse just fell apart last time. However, this is the lone speed in the race, and lone speed on the turf is very dangerous. At 12-1, Fortunate Girl can make a lot of people real fortunate at the window. So Fortunate Girl will be my top pick, and I'm going to use the 10 Gambling Train, the 5 Hard Legacy, and the 2 Delta's Kingdom in my exactas. So there's other big races tomorrow at Churchill, just too many to go over. If you have an inclination to play, tomorrow's going to be a nice day. Sit in the sun, get a little color to your skin, get the winter paste off, and then hit Churchill Downs on the simulcast at night.